Hey, welcome back. Glad you joined us here at Back Channel News. It's been an awful lot going on in the news, and a lot of prophetic things are going on. A lot of signs are going on. Things that I think we need to just take a look at. So let's get to some of the news stories. Of course, politics. Washington establishment, they have definitely hit the panic button. I don't think they ever really expected that the Trump movement would get the kind of momentum behind it that it's got. And they really never expected it to take off the way it did and to last. MoveOn.org is fundraising at a frantic pace. They have vowed to destroy all of Trump's rallies, all of his speaking engagements. They're the ones that are putting up the money to send in the groups that are heckling and protesting. They're busing them in from other states, other areas to protest and to purposely make divisive, horrible scenes. MoveOn.org is owned by George Soros, and if you don't know who George Soros is, you really need to find out. You need to. This man is, he's interesting. He is a gazillionaire. The man is made of money. He has taken billions of his dollars, that's billions with a B, and supported left-wing groups like Planned Parenthood and Acorn, to name a few. Dozens of groups very liberal groups that he tries very hard to put a lot of money towards. Also, he has made sure that liberal candidates have all the money they need to have the best fundraising and the best turnouts, whatever they need. He said several times that, quote, "I see myself as a messianic figure." That's dangerous. And that he would use his billions to impose a radical liberal agenda on America. This is really scary. I'm going to tell you, when something is off in the spiritual world, it shows up in the natural. Let me just give you a possible thing to just think about. I won't put my vote behind any one person on camera. I will not put anybody up on a pedestal. All I'm saying is, think about this. If, in fact, we know that there's a war in the heavenlies going on all around us all the time. If the spiritual realms are warring and are upset, then it's going to show up in the natural realm. It just does. Otherwise, what would the point be of there being a spiritual realm? What would the point be? Let's just throw this little hypothetical out there. A man shows up out of nowhere who nobody thought would be able to do anything. Trump. Everybody thought that his campaign was laughable. It would never amount to anything. Even if it did do something, he'd be gone in a month. And lo and behold, he's saying the things that a lot of people are thinking. And what happened? It explodes. Now, if the spiritual realm, evil, is upset because here's a person that has the possibilities of doing a really good job of abolishing the establishment, abolishing evil in government, abolishing the shadow governments, the puppet masters. The evil side's going to get a little upset. So what are they going to do? They're going to start throwing everything they can at him. They're going to interrupt his rallies. They're gonna bring violence to his rallies. They're gonna put out the most vicious, most ridiculous, slanderous bunch of information, just hogwash, to try to get him out of there. Because he's not working for them. It's just something to ponder. As far as signs, I told you there's a lot of interesting signs going on in the world right now. I think the prophetic is really strong. We just have to look for it. We just have to recognize it. Let's see. I believe it was about a month ago, 13 American eagles were found dead. There was absolutely no reason for their death. They weren't shot, they weren't hurt, they weren't cut, they weren't stabbed, they weren't anything. At first they thought, oh, they were poisoned. Somebody poisoned them. They'd run tests on every one of the birds. Not conclusive. There was no poison. 13 American bald eagles died suddenly in a group. 13 American colonies, the original colonies. Interesting. Now we find out that ravens have returned to Washington, D.C. and have started nesting for the first time in over 100 years. Interesting. Washington, D.C. is suddenly inundated with ravens that are nesting. Wow. Ravens are in Scripture. I think there's two very interesting places in the Word where ravens are unique. One, Noah. First bird he sent out was a raven. The raven brought back nothing. There was nothing for the raven. It came back void. It was the days of Noah. Are we in the days of Noah? The days when no good man can be found, where Sodom and Gomorrah-esque behavior is running wild. Are we in the days of Noah? The other place I find it's really interesting is in 1 Kings 17. It's when Elijah proclaimed a drought on his enemies. He proclaimed a drought and said, dew or rain will not fall until I say so. God commanded him to do that. And with that, he went out into the desert by a small brook, and he held up there. The Lord said, I've commanded the ravens to feed you there. And they brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. The ravens fed Elijah during a famine, when he was hiding. Are we in a huge famine? A famine of common sense? Are we in a famine of Christianity? Are we headed for a drought? A spiritual drought? Like nothing we've ever experienced before? Now, I'm not a doomer glimmer. I really am not. I just find this interesting. And I think it would be worthy for each and every one of us to pray about these things. Pray about these things. God put signs there for us. He wants the righteous to be aware. But you've got to ask Him. And I think He'll tell you. It's just a matter of praying about these things and seeing what God is asking you to do in your own personal life. It's all up to us. The last thing I wanted to look at today was my old buddy Kim Jong. Love me some cheese. Oh, brother. This poor little man, I almost feel sorry for him. I really do. 2 weeks ago, he's claiming he has a miniaturized nuclear weapon that he is putting on the tip end of long-range ballistic missiles, and he threatened the New York and the continent, the North American continent, and said, I can take out New York, and there would be nothing left. I can do it, and I will do it. Well, nobody heeded his warnings. He was kind of laughed at, like usual, by our government. And the problem is, he's dangerous. Not because he can really do those things. He's dangerous because he's so desperate to be taken seriously. He is so desperate to run with the big dogs. And he's a laughable child. He's like the kid in the grocery store that's throwing a fit in the middle of the cereal aisle. He wants his way. He wants what he wants. And if you can't have it, he's just going to throw a fit. Well, guess what? He threw a fit. He has taken a 23-year-old college student, American college student, and sentenced him to 15 years in a hard labor camp. The young man did do something wrong. He took a propaganda poster off the wall at the hotel that he was staying at. He wanted to take it for a souvenir. Yes, he did something wrong. Shouldn't have taken it. But anywhere else in the known world, that would have been a slap on the wrist. But instead, Kim Jong-un has sentenced this child to 15 years in a hard labor camp in prison. Labor camps are not like our prison system here. There's no TV. There's no indoor plumbing. There's nothing. They're fed bug-infested rice and maybe a little bit of water. It's horrific. People die in these camps from disease and the filth. This is no joke. He couldn't get Daddy Obama's attention with the threat of the nuclear weapon, so he took one of our people and has basically bestowed a death sentence on the child. We've got to pray about this man. He is dangerous because he's desperate, and desperate people do stupid things, very stupid things. Pray for our country, people. We're in a sad state of affairs. Brothers are turning against brothers. Sisters are attacking sisters. If you don't share their opinion, watch out. The foaming and frothing and hyperventilating starts, and they're going to tear you to pieces. That's where we are right now. And that's not what this is about. We're allowed to have our own opinions. We still do live in a democracy. We haven't completely gone socialist yet. We still live in a democracy. Pray, I beg of you, pray for your country. Fast for your country. We are in desperate times. We need God more than ever. We need Him to intervene before it's too late. We're in trouble. And our only hope is God. Thanks for watching this, and I hope it gives you something to think about. I hope it energizes you to be stronger in your prayer and fasting life. I really do appreciate each and every one of you that watches. Till next time, this is Back Channel News. God bless you. Love you. Mean it.